northwards to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, Mainers from across the state gathered in Belfast to honor the late Searsmont Assistant Fire Chief Wayne Woodbury. We'll have more on that ahead. Plus, a Bangor City Councilor is being scrutinized after walking out of a meeting before many key votes. And the Courthouse Gallery of Fine Arts in Ellsworth is celebrating 20 years in business. We'll have those details coming up as well. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. Now for the weather today, we'll see some sunny skies with maybe a chance of rain later on. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have some clouds passing through this morning as we're watching for some more activity tracking in from the southwest and going toward the north and east. We'll have some more showers and thunderstorms moving in today as this area low pressure continues to rotate in from the southwest and go in toward the north and east. Nothing too ridiculous today. You may notice some locally heavy downpours at times. This area low pressure will build in today. Some sunshine giving way to some showers and thunderstorms today with some more precipitation moving in overnight and the parts of tomorrow morning. So the wind will not be much of a problem today. You may get a few sporadic gusts up to 10, 15, maybe getting up to 20 miles per hour at times as we get some of these showers and thunderstorms through. But tomorrow, some more gusty winds, some more widespread, getting up to around 15 to 20 miles per hour. So your hourly forecast for today will have some clouds and sunshine as temperatures rise into the upper 70s to lower 80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, firefighters across the state gathered in Belfast yesterday to join family and friends in celebrating the life of Searsmont Assistant Fire Chief Wayne Woodbury. His funeral service was held Wednesday afternoon at the Belfast Area High School, and he was honored for his lifelong dedication to fire service. Our Grace Blanchard shares more.
Remembering the life and legacy of Wayne Woodbury.
His legacy lives on in the firefighters he influenced, the community he served, and the example that he set for generations to follow.
On June 14th, Assistant Searsmont Fire Chief Wayne Woodbury died at 76 years old from injuries he sustained while battling the Robbins lumber fire and explosion in Searsmont on May 15th. A procession was held for Woodbury the following day. On Wednesday, family, friends, and firefighters statewide came together to remember his life.
He was quiet, humble, and unassuming. But if you knew Wayne, you also knew that behind that quiet demeanor was someone you could always count on.
Wayne dedicated over 60 years to volunteering as a firefighter in both Belmont and Searsmont, and was also a member of the Bath Iron Works Fire Brigade.
Wayne taught by example. His patience, wisdom, and calm presence helped shape generations of firefighters who are better because they had the opportunity to learn from him.
Maine State Fire Marshal Chief Sean Essler acknowledged how Maine's first responders have endured tremendous loss this year, with the deaths of Maine Game Warden Joshua Tibbetts, Morrill firefighter Andrew Cross, and now Wayne Woodbury.
He was injured doing what he had done for decades, standing shoulder to shoulder with his fellow firefighters in protecting his community.
Woodbury was remembered by friends as a lover of the outdoors, his 2 cats, and a gentle man who loved his family, friends, community, and Maine.
We are saddened for our loss of your passing, and you've enriched our lives through your friendship. You will be remembered, and you are loved.
In Belfast, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, a Bangor City Council member is facing criticism after walking out of a council meeting before several key votes. Our Alex Schley with more.
Bangor City Council member Carolyn Fish walked out of Monday night's City Council meeting. The move comes during a discussion about a proposed ICE ordinance that had been tabled for months. Fish left the chamber following a passionate public comment from Councilman Joe Leonard.
ICE is an organization right now that has a written memorandum of understanding where the now previous director told his ICE officers, you can just ignore the Fourth Amendment. That's unacceptable to me.
Leonard went on to say disparaging things about President Donald Trump. Councilmember Mike Beck says he did not hear Fish inform anyone she was leaving. Moments later, other members of the council appeared unsure of her whereabouts.
Just a point of order, I believe Councilor Fish had left the dais. I believe she has to return for the vote under the charter.
Just to return for a vote?
I don't know where she is or how to get her to return.
She's gone.
She's gone.
So.
In addition to the ICE ordinance, the council was also scheduled to vote on Bangor's finalized city budget. Councilmember Fish did not return for that vote either.
We're all coming with our own personal opinion. We all got elected by certain segments of the population, but we all serve all of Bangor. We can have the disagreements, but let's talk them out. Let's not do these protest walkouts, because again, people of Bangor counted on us to vote on that budget. It's the most important thing we do all year long. That was not the time to walk out.
We initially reached out to Fish Wednesday morning. She told us she was heading into a meeting but would be available later in the day to speak with our reporter. However, she did not return her call despite multiple attempts to reach her by phone, text message, and in person at her workplace. We were unable to obtain a comment. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, residents in Oakland are petitioning for an ordinance to help stabilize the rent for their mobile home lots. After collecting signatures, which were rendered invalid due to unofficial paperwork, Rhonda West and other organizations gathered outside of Dollar General to start their process over in the hopes of gathering the 375 signatures needed in order to get a mobile home rent stabilization ordinance to a ballot vote. Since they received the correct documents, West and the other organizers have been collecting signatures since Monday of last week and have accumulated over 300. Local mobile home owners like Jeremy Yeamans say that getting an ordinance on the ballot would be impactful for their long-term goals and stability.
It would actually put me in a position to where I could sell this trailer in a few years and get into a home. I mean, ultimately, that's everybody's dream, is their own house, their own land, you know. So I feel like that's my goal. I mean, pretty sure that's everybody's goal. Just want to be able to live and be happy, you know.
Well, Oakland's Town Council is hosting a public hearing and first reading for the Health and Safety Mobile Home Ordinance on July 1st at 15 Fairfield Street. In other news, a Bucksport woman was arrested and faces numerous charges after a traffic stop led to the seizure of a large quantity of drugs. On Monday morning, shortly after 6 o'clock, Bucksport police officers conducted a traffic stop on Route 1. Initially, 31-year-old Sarah Malta of Bucksport was arrested for operating after revocation. Bucksport police say that Malta was found to be in possession of illegal drugs and drug paraphernalia. They say that officers located methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl on her person and inside the vehicle. And then, while being processed at the Hancock County Jail, police say that Malta was found to be concealing suspected controlled substances within a body cavity. Sarah Malta faces a variety of drug-related and other charges. Another reminder that the Waterville Police Department is asking for the public's help in finding a missing man. Police say that 54-year-old Eric Cullen was last seen leaving his home on June 1st. He has not been heard from since. If you have any information about his whereabouts, please contact the Waterville Police Department. Well, Maine's 70-year-old interstate is in need of work, but it's also a cornerstone of the state's transportation and economy. That's according to a report from TRIP, a national transportation research nonprofit. Based on the analysis from the Texas Transportation Institute at Texas A&M University, Maine's interstate highway provides improved access and reduces congestion, annually reducing total vehicle delays by approximately 3.5 million hours and gasoline consumption by approximately 1 million gallons. And it also found that from the year 2000 to 2024, travel on Maine's interstate system increased by 25%. The report also said our interstate ranked 5th in the country when it comes to having the greatest share of bridges in poor condition. West Virginia, New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, and Rhode Island all rank above Maine. Jake LaChance, the executive director of Maine Better Transportation, says, quote, "The trip report confirms what Maine drivers, businesses, and communities already know. Transportation infrastructure is not a luxury, it's a foundation of our economy," end quote. Well, the New Balance Foundation is giving $1 million to the Skowhegan River Park. It comes as construction on Skowhegan's boardwalk is set to begin. Main Street Skowhegan Executive Director Christina Cannon says that the money from New Balance is one of the largest gifts ever made toward the Skowhegan River Park vision. A public groundbreaking on that boardwalk will be held on June 29th. Cannon says, quote, "After nearly 3 decades of planning and community engagement, we're about to see the first physical pieces of the project take shape. And at the same time, we're continuing to advance the next phases, from additional boardwalk infrastructure to the adjustable surf and kayak wave that will make Skowhegan a nationally recognized recreation destination." The time now is 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Governor's Location celebrated their annual Lobster Roll Day yesterday. We'll have all the details ahead. But first, another look at the forecast. For today, we'll have a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms with highs around 81 degrees. Overnight tonight, very similar with some areas of dense fog, temperatures in the mid-50s. And for tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies with a chance of thunder showers, highs around 71. We'll be right back.
Do you take propane tank?
Anything goes.
How about cardboard?
Anything goes.
How about old rug?
Yeah, anything goes.
So this too?
Furniture removal, basements, garages, attics, hoarder houses. It doesn't matter here at Anything Goes Junk Removal. Anything goes. Well, almost anything.
I served 2 tours in the Middle East, 21 years in the Air Force.
I served in a field artillery unit.
The Maine National Guard. I respect Graham Plattner's service, but he doesn't respect ours.
Plattner falsely accused a military hero of war crimes.
He said a Purple Heart recipient didn't deserve to live after being shot, trying to save his own troops.
And Plattner blames his Nazi tattoo on military culture? That's insulting. Graham Plattner's a fraud. He's unfit to represent Maine.
Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Is your Maine issued license or ID expiring soon? Good news. You may be able to skip the trip to the BMV and renew it online, including if your license or state ID is Real ID compliant. Visit maine.gov/SOS/BMV today to find out if you're eligible to renew online. Brought to you by this station, the Maine Association of Broadcasters, and the Office of the Secretary of State.
Ellsworth's historic Courthouse Gallery of Fine Arts is celebrating 20 years in business. It has opened as homage to their very first exhibit, inviting local artists to imagine Ellsworth as a muse. Our Kelly Warren takes us there.
And this is an opening reception for the Ellsworth show, which is called Ellsworth as Muse. And when I look around the room, and I realize I'm looking outside and Ellsworth is all around me. People focus on the main drag, but there's part of it that's really beautiful that sometimes get ignored. And these artists have found those.
And that's what artists do. We sort of look for things, and we're taking some time to slow down and look at what might be overlooked. At twilight, the sky turns this gorgeous cobalt blue color, and the lights sort of shine from within the buildings, and it's an interesting time of day to paint.
Revisit your favorite places through another artist's eyes.
You know, I've spent a lot of hours in libraries, but the Ellsworth one is really special, being beside the river there. And I was standing up above on the second floor so I could look down into that reading room with the tables, and it was quiet and lovely.
This particular preserve is where I like to hike the dogs, so I thought it'd be a fitting, suitable scene to capture texture where the trees were really kind of poking out down off the cliff. It's a huge honor to be a part of it, and it's also a fun learning experience to see what other people see.
Well, I hope people come out and see the show. It's on till July 10th. When I am in this space, I am so amazed by what the artists did in this show. When people come in here, they're kind of blown away.
Meanwhile, local organizations are teaming up to encourage reading and improve literacy in the Bangor area. Literacy Volunteers of Bangor, Darling's Ice Cream for a Cause, and the Briar Patch hosted their annual children's book drive in downtown Bangor. Attendees enjoyed free ice cream and children's book readings throughout the day while helping support local literacy programs. Organizers are asking the public to donate new or gently used children's books. Board books for infants and graphic novels are especially needed.
Because reading is important. It allows people to have their own agency and be able to choose the things that they want to read. Supporting literacy in the community is very important.
Well, if you or someone you know missed the event yesterday but has books to donate, you can drop them off anytime at the Briar Patch in Bangor. Well, people who stopped by one of Governor's 6 restaurant locations yesterday were treated to a Maine staple at a fair price. As our Doug Banks reports, employees have been on a roll for the past 5 days, prepping to ensure their annual lobster roll day is met with excitement.
It's a perfect treat on a Maine summer day.
Whether they were guests, regulars, locals, or visitors, and whether they dined in, walked up, or drove through, each were all treated to a state staple, as Governor's Restaurant held its annual Lobster Roll Day.
This is just the best day ever. I love it.
At around this time for the past 17 years, the Maine restaurant has dished out well-priced lobster rolls to honor its founding.
June 3rd, actually, 1959, Governor's was founded right here in Old Town. We started doing this when we turned 50, and we've done this every year since.
To celebrate 67 years of being a state institution, lobster rolls on Wednesday were sold at $11.67.
We look forward to this day all month.
They estimate roughly 20,000 pounds of lobster will be packed into their famous hot dog rolls.
Bigger than a regular Frankfurter roll that you might get at the grocery store.
Across 6 locations.
All the way from Presque Isle to Lewiston.
All day.
Until we sell out. We will sell out in most locations.
Making it one of their busiest and funnest days of the year.
I hope they see how well we work together and how the community can come together on a day like this.
In Old Town, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, the time now is 6:18. After the break, chaos on Capitol Hill as President Trump does not sign the new housing bill. We'll have the latest on that coming up. Plus, overnight, 2 powerful earthquakes hitting Venezuela. Those stories and more straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Make your outdoor living space dreams come true with a little help from Granville Stone and Hearth. Granville can help you go from this to this. Outdoor fireplaces, custom outdoor kitchens, gorgeous stone patios, and more. You bring the dreams, we'll supply the materials to make it all real. Create your stunning outdoor oasis with help from the experts at Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Tech that lets you be you. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson. Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson SE for $209 a month or get 0.99% APR for 60 months. Hurry in.
Commercial vehicles can be dangerous, and they usually carry big insurance policies.
So whether you're hurt by a landscaping truck like this, a work van like this, or a big rig like this, we know commercial vehicle accidents, and we know how to get you the big money you may deserve. If any commercial vehicle hurts you, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a commercial vehicle? Call the twos. We win for you. Call 222-2222.
Now to the devastating earthquakes hitting Venezuela. Officials overnight confirmed 32 deaths and more than 700 injuries, but they expect those numbers to rise today. ABC's Sophie Flay with the latest.
This morning, concern about aftershocks after two powerful earthquakes rocked Venezuela, hitting less than a minute apart. The first, a 7.2 magnitude quake.
An earthquake just shook the entire building.
Then, 39 seconds later, and just miles away, a 7.5 quake. People fleeing into the streets of Caracas, buildings swaying, smoke plumes rising from the city. Crowds gathering around collapsed buildings, told to keep silent as first responders yelled out to people buried in the rubble. Victims pulled from beneath buildings. Officials warning the casualties could be high. This video shows part of the Caracas airport collapsing in a cloud of dust. People still inside. The quakes are the largest to hit Venezuela in more than a century. The last 24 hours have seen smaller earthquakes from Japan to the U.S. This 5.6 magnitude quake hitting Northern California. Wine bottles and groceries flying off shelves at this store in Upper Lake.
I was shaking from head to toe. My hands were shaking. I was watching wine bottles drop and just break and the wine go everywhere. It felt like it lasted for 20 minutes.
The quake lasted 30 seconds and was felt as far as San Jose, 180 miles to the south. And across the Pacific, a 6.9 magnitude quake struck off the coast of Japan. No major damage was reported there. Experts say there's no indication the seismic events are related. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
The time now is 6:22. Let's get a full look at our forecast. Meteorologist Devin Biggs is in with the latest.
All righty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Already, wave heights look like this at around 2 to 3 feet according to the buoys. A little bit higher farther out towards sea, ranging from around 5-6 feet farther out towards sea, so a little bit more active. We have no advisories along the coast or even on land at this moment in time. Let's check out the water temperatures in the upper 50s at this moment. Farther out towards sea, a little bit cooler, but overall not looking too bad. Definitely still cool at this moment in time. Meanwhile, on land, we do have some clouds approaching as we have another system farther out toward the west. This will bring us some showers and thunderstorms today. In fact, some more activity moving in over the next several days with rounds of showers and thunderstorms on the way. You can see some activity off toward the west now, tracking off towards the east. We'll have some morning convection developing as we get some sunshine going, but really the main activity will be during the afternoon period. And what I mean by that is, for now, just some clouds. We'll get some fuel building up as we get some sunshine, some more showers and storms developing during the afternoon and evening time frame. Notice we get some clouds overnight. Notice some more precipitation, not only overnight, but as we head towards tomorrow with showers and thunderstorms rotating through, and they even continue as we head towards Friday evening. And not only that, but it starts to back off a bit, at least in the meantime, until Saturday morning. So here's the precipitation opportunities, and I'm going to run this through at least for a bit through parts of Monday into Tuesday. And we have some decent opportunities for precipitation still, at least around a half an inch to an inch of rainfall before we're all finished up. So here's a look at your forecast. Scattered showers and thunderstorms today. Lower 80s for the high, and that northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. Overnight, scattered thunderstorms, areas of dense fog with lows in the mid-50s, and the wind overall looking nice and calm. And for tomorrow, mostly cloudy, showers and thunderstorms. Lower 70s for the high, and a south wind at about 20 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast as we head towards your Saturday. More showers and thunderstorms on the way with highs in the mid-70s, and then upper 70s as we head towards your Sunday with showers and thunderstorms. Monday, we finally dry out, partly cloudy, highs in the low 80s.
On Dancing with the Stars, The Next Pro, 12 of the best dancers join me for the audition of a lifetime.
I'm here to win.
Woo! This is what hunger looks like.
Nothing is gonna stop me.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
As a doctor in rural Maine, we're already seeing the impact. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Our hospitals are closing, and the worst is yet to come. But Susan Collins gave Trump a blank check for his war in Iran. Billions of dollars that we could use here in Maine. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snowblowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
Next Jeopardy! With one more win, he could become a super champion. Now, body yaddy yaddy. It could all come down to a daily double.
This has been amazing.
Only on ABC 7. You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Chaos on Capitol Hill. In a surprise move, President Trump refused to sign a bipartisan bill to address the housing crisis unless he gets something in return. ABC's Karen Waugh is in Washington with the details.
A planned lunch meeting with Senate Republicans devolved into a shouting match after President Trump suddenly refused to sign a bipartisan bill aimed at fixing the nation's housing crisis, which overwhelmingly passed Congress.
I was disappointed because I thought that this had become a priority.
Democrats pounced.
And Donald Trump decides to have the toddler temper tantrum and announces he's not going to sign it. This bill that would help build more housing at a lower cost, that'll bring down prices.
A recent report found a nationwide shortage of 10 million homes. The bill would ban Wall Street investors from buying single-family homes and make it easier to construct homes, so they can instead be sold to families. Trump's own press secretary called it one of the most significant pieces of housing affordability legislation in American history. Lawmakers in both chambers were blindsided when President Trump called the bill a matter of minor importance on social media. Trump said he would not sign it unless Congress first signs his so-called SAVE Act, which would require Americans to show proof of citizenship to register to vote. The SAVE Act doesn't have the votes to pass in the Senate. Also a source of tension at the meeting, President Trump was furious at the Republican senators who voted with Democrats to limit his war powers in Iran. Overnight, two of those Republicans, Bill Cassidy and Rand Paul, changed their votes after a briefing from the White House. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is set to meet with the president today to discuss the housing bill, among other issues. Johnson says he's confident Trump will ultimately sign the bill. Karen Waugh, ABC News, Washington.
A federal judge yesterday ordered the Trump administration to explain why a tarp is now over the Kennedy Center's facade. This after President Trump's name was removed from the building under a court order. And today, the U.S. District Judge said that the administration must report by July 31st the purpose and status of the tarp and scaffolding in place at that iconic building. The tarp was installed as workers stripped Trump's name earlier this month, after the same judge ruled that the administration had unlawfully added his name to the center back in December. Well, after 3 years, there's a break in the case of a couple murdered in an upscale Pennsylvania home, and their daughter is now under arrest. And she's been linked to a cult-like group police believe is responsible for several other deaths. ABC's Andrea Fujii with more.
This morning, a woman believed to belong to a cult-like group called the Zizians is under arrest, charged in her parents' murders.
Took her mother to her childhood playroom and executed her.
Prosecutors say Rita and Richard Psycho were shot in their suburban Philadelphia home on their daughter, Michelle's, birthday back on New Year's Eve 2022.
We have lived with unspeakable grief and sorrow.
Prosecutors say her mother had texted Michelle that day saying she was sorry for the rift that had grown between them. That text went unanswered, but officials say a few hours later, a car pulled up and at least two people getting out, one allegedly yelling, "Mom," before going in.
We know Michelle Psycho was with the killers, killers, to the extent that she wasn't the one that actually pulled the trigger. She was certainly aligned with those that did.
An affidavit claims Michelle is linked to the Zizians, described by authorities as a cult that shares radical beliefs about veganism, animal rights, and gender identity. They're now linked to 6 deaths in 3 states, including the killing of a Border Patrol agent during a highway shootout in Vermont last year.
I followed a lot of bizarre cases, a lot of horrifying cases. What makes this one particularly odd is it's still unclear even now, what everyone's up to. What's the goal here? Why is this happening? Why are people dead? What are they trying to achieve?
Psycho, who was living in Vermont, has denied killing her parents.
Authorities say no weapon has been found in her parents' murders, but investigators say shell casings at the scene match ammunition found at a firing range in Michelle's backyard in Vermont. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Well, now to an emergency in the cockpit on a flight from New Jersey to Canada, one of 2 mid-air scares in recent days. ABC's Hannah Battah has that story.
New details on what passengers describe as terrifying moments as the pilot of this Air Canada flight from New Jersey suffered a medical episode in mid-air.
Pilot is incapacitated. Aircraft is being flown by the co-pilot.
It all started when the plane suddenly swerved.
The moment the plane swerved, I knew something was wrong because it was not turbulence. It really felt like someone had jolted the controls, and then it happened over and over again.
The pilot experiencing what witnesses describe as a seizure that lasted 40 minutes, though a diagnosis has not been confirmed. Passengers jumping in to help after they say a flight attendant dragged the pilot out of the cockpit into the aisle, trying to restrain him.
Myself and about 4 others worked to get him under control. It was a fairly strenuous 40 minutes of keeping him down.
The co-pilot taking over. The flight headed to Nova Scotia, forced to land in Boston. Video from our Boston station, WCVB, shows first responders taking the pilot out of the plane on a stretcher to the hospital. Thousands of miles away, another scare in the air. This small plane crash landing in rural Alaska. Everyone on board quietly, without panic, bracing for impact, as the pilot found a clearing to safely bring down the plane after an engine issue.
Something went wrong with the plane and had an emergency crash landing out here in the bush.
That long trench left in the dirt, the only mark of what could have been a disaster.
Everyone's safe, and that's what matters.
Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll take a look at some celebrations happening in D.C. for America's 250th anniversary. This and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
He jumped on the ladder and climbed up about 3 steps and just hung there. The crew chief went down the ladder, grabbed him by the rucksack and held him until we got off to a LZ where we could drop him off. Amazing courage.
We learned then what the war is all about. Can you help us over here? We have some severely wounded just coming in. I guess that was a part we knew we was at war because they were terribly wounded.
I got where I wouldn't even run to the bunker. Wasn't any sense in doing anything. If you were working and you had a patient on the table, you pulled the patient off the table, put him on the floor, and put yourself on top of the patient.
Everything went crazy. The engines were screaming, and stuff was flying around in the cabin, and it was really something. Then we hit the ground. The tires were screeching. You could feel the plane doing one of those, you know, and it finally came to a stop. Come to find out, they missed the airport.
We went down once, one turned too quick, and we took 650 caliber rounds through the bottom of the aircraft. Inside the aircraft was covered with blood. Instruments were all going red lights.
As far as I'm concerned, I think it's the most important thing I've ever done in my life.
2/3 of the way down the ladder, the blast went off, and he was killed outright.
When you first get there, you kind of resign yourself that you might not go home.
I think I saw courage every single day, and everything blew my mind. I saw it every single day, what men and women did over there. People have no clue, absolutely have no clue of what folks did and the sacrifices they made.
As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, we celebrate freedom and honor the men and women who have served to protect it. Our heroes, their own words. Friday, July 3rd at 7 p.m. on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. As America approaches 250 years, we return to Philadelphia, where the Declaration of Independence was adopted, where the words that helped launch a nation still carry meaning today. ABC's Michelle Franzen takes us there.
It is the birthplace of American democracy, Philadelphia, the city where the country's founders drafted, debated, and shaped the Declaration of Independence, and where a new nation first began to define itself, and where the words that launched America still carry weight 250 years later.
It is the founding idea that all men are created equal.
Jackson Pavlik brings Benjamin Franklin to life for Historic Philadelphia Incorporated, an organization connecting visitors to people, places, and decisions that shaped America. And much of that history is still within steps of Independence Hall.
This is where the Declaration was written. This is where the Constitution was written and signed. This is where the Liberty Bell resides.
But Independence Hall is more than a landmark. It is the place where America's founding ideals were put to the test before they were ever put on paper. The summer of 1776, delegates gathered inside that hall to debate a question that would change the world: whether 13 colonies would remain subjects of a king or risk everything to become a new nation. The answer was far from certain.
We had many different opinions in the room. There were those uncomfortable with the idea of independence. There were those patriots, and vociferous patriots at that, arguing fervently for it.
They argued, they compromised, they pushed ahead, and from that tension came a declaration, imperfect but revolutionary.
But eventually, because of both, yes, Mr. Adams and Mr. Jefferson writing the Declaration with his committee of 5, of which I was a member,
a start and an idea that has evolved over the past 250 years. That promise of equality is not just something written on paper, but something each generation is called to confront, defend, and expand.
If we can keep those ideas in the forefront of our minds as we reach our 250th birthday and pass it, I think our country will be just fine for the next 250 years.
In Philadelphia, the words that launched a nation remain part of America's story 250 years later. Michelle Franzen, ABC News, New York.
Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Stephen Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have some clouds passing through this morning as we're watching for some more activity tracking in from the southwest and going toward the north and east. We'll have some more showers and thunderstorms moving in today as this area of low pressure continues to rotate in from the southwest and go in toward the north and east. Nothing too ridiculous today. You may notice some locally heavy downpours at times. This area of low pressure will build in today. Some sunshine giving way to some showers and thunderstorms today with some more precipitation moving in overnight and the parts of tomorrow morning. So the wind will not be much of a problem today. You may get a few sporadic gusts up to 10, 15, maybe getting up to 20 miles per hour at times as we get some of these showers and thunderstorms through. But tomorrow, some more gusty winds, some more widespread, getting up to around 15 to 20 miles per hour. So your hourly forecast for today will have some clouds and sunshine as temperatures rise into the upper 70s to lower 80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports. Don't go away.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Looking for great food and hometown flavor? Riverside Grill is your favorite spot for juicy burgers, choices on seafood, and more. Fresh food served with a smile every day.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
As a doctor in rural Maine, we're already seeing the impact. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Our hospitals are closing, and the worst is yet to come. But Susan Collins gave Trump a blank check for his war in Iran. Billions of dollars that we could use here in Maine. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
ABC 7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Tuesday night was an exciting one for Boston fans. The NBA draft took place, and the Celtics welcomed in the newest addition to their team. With the 27th overall pick in the first round of Tuesday's draft, the Boston Celtics selected forward Chris Sanac Jr. out of the University of Houston. The 6'11", 240-pound center is just 19 years old. He only played 1 year of collegiate basketball before turning to the pros in his one season with the Cougars. He averaged nearly 10 points and 8 rebounds per game and shot 50% from the field. He was a huge contributor to Houston's run in the Sweet 16 before being eliminated by Illinois. Celtics president of basketball operations says the choice to select Sanac was based on the raw talent he has and the energy he can bring to the building.
Well, he's just a good young player, energetic, plays hard, excellent athlete, long, fits a position of need. Some things that we were a little short on this year. From an athletic perspective, he's a good worker, he's a good person, and he's got a lot to learn, but we're excited about starting that process with him.
Let's stick with the Celtics and take a deeper dive into the Jaylen Brown situation. For those of you who don't know, the Celtics were heavily involved in the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes before he was traded to the Miami Heat on Monday night. Acquiring a player of his caliber demands a high price, of course, and it has been rumored that the Celtics were prepared to offer their own superstar Jaylen Brown as a part of the trade package needed to bring Giannis to Boston. Now that the trade to Miami has been confirmed, there's been a lot of speculation surrounding Brown's future with Boston. Brown is currently on a 5-year, $304 million Supermax contract with the Celtics that runs through the 2028-29 season. But talks of a trade out of Boston have been stirring after Tuesday's draft. Brad Stevens was asked about Jalen's future with the team.
Jaylen Brown's a big part of us. Like, you know, I'm never gonna predict the future, but like every indication, everything that I think about is over the past few years has been building around those guys, right? And so obviously you never know, but at the same time, I think the one thing I want to make very clear is how valued he's always been.
Let's shift our sights to the World Cup now. Team USA is looking to maintain momentum ahead of the round of 32. They'll hit the pitch Thursday night against Turkey, but team still faces questions ahead of the match. Fox News correspondent Caroline Elliott has more.
The pressure will be off for Team USA in tomorrow's match, but players say it doesn't make this last group stage match any less important.
Team USA holding a final training session before facing off against Turkey at Los Angeles Stadium. There won't be much on the line. The U.S. already secured its spot in the knockout round, and Turkey was eliminated after its loss to Paraguay, but players say they are not losing focus.
You're going to see 11 guys out there that are wanting to continue to make history, but also you're going to see 15, 16 guys on the bench also supporting everybody else who's on the field.
Head coach Mauricio Pochettino still faces lineup decisions, including whether to rest some of his key starters. There are 4 players who could be suspended for the round of 32 if they were to pick up another yellow card during the match. Another headline for Team USA is star player Christian Pulisic, who did not play last game because of a calf injury.
It's been tough, but I was able to support the team and watch them get an amazing result in Seattle, and now just back training.
As many as 69,000 fans will be in the stadium to see the U.S. close out the group stage. For anyone not able to make it, there are watch parties happening across the city.
It's amazing that we're on our time zone, and to watch the U.S. win and to go, fingers crossed, deep in the World Cup.
Tickets for tomorrow's match are still available with a get-in price at about $1,400. In Los Angeles, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Let's take a look at some scores from a packed day of Wednesday action. You got Switzerland with a big win in Canada. That game was also played in Vancouver. That's a big win for Switzerland. Brazil with a win over Scotland. The Tottenham Army is definitely sad to see that one. Scotland in jeopardy of not even making the knockout rounds. Bosnia with a big 3-1 win over Qatar, and Morocco is getting it done in their group with a win versus Haiti 4-2. That's a high-scoring matchup right there. And, of course, Team USA plays on Thursday night at 10 p.m. That one will be on Fox. I got to give a shout out to my buddy Vinny. He's up here in Bar Harbor for a bachelor party. Yeah, no problem, guys. I'm bringing some help to the economy here. Not a big deal. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
If you've been injured in a motorcycle wreck, call 855 Iron Law today. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. We protect our own.
ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Welcome back, everyone. Celebrations for the country's 250th birthday are officially underway after an opening ceremony in the nation's capital yesterday. Fox's Rebecca Castor has more on the weeks-long festivities taking place in Washington, D.C.
Jet flyovers, military bands,
a very big hello to America.
And President Trump headlined the opening ceremony for the Great American State Fair on the National Mall Wednesday night. The ceremony was the official start to the 16-day event, celebrating the country's history during its 250th anniversary.
We are the inheritors of these incredible traditions.
The event was originally scheduled as a concert, but President Trump changed it to a rally for America after several artists dropped out.
This is the destiny of America, to be the greatest, most incredible country ever to grace the earth.
The fair runs through July 10th and features artifacts from all 56 states and U.S. territories.
This feels so patriotic, and honestly, my heart is full.
It's free and open to everyone, but security will be tight. Attendees should expect TSA-level security to get in.
There's a lot of security, too, so nothing can really go wrong.
Many people at the event say they're excited to celebrate America's 250th in the nation's capital.
I'm just excited to be out here and be able to celebrate 250 years of freedom that God has blessed this country with.
Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
All righty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Already, wave heights look like this at around 2 to 3 feet according to the buoys. A little bit higher farther out towards sea, ranging from around 5-6 feet farther out towards sea, so a little bit more active. We have no advisories along the coast or even on land at this moment in time. Let's check out the water temperatures in the upper 50s at this moment. Farther out towards sea, a little bit cooler, but overall not looking too bad. Definitely still cool at this moment in time. Meanwhile, on land, we do have some clouds approaching as we have another system farther out toward the west. This will bring us some showers and thunderstorms today. In fact, some more activity moving in over the next several days with rounds of showers and thunderstorms on the way. You can see some activity off toward the west now, tracking off towards the east. We'll have some morning convection developing as we get some sunshine going, but really the main activity will be during the afternoon period. And what I mean by that is, for now, just some clouds. We'll get some fuel building up as we get some sunshine, some more showers and storms developing during the afternoon and evening time frame. Notice we get some clouds overnight. Notice some more precipitation, not only overnight, but as we head towards tomorrow with showers and thunderstorms rotating through, and they even continue as we head towards Friday evening. And not only that, but it starts to back off a bit, at least in the meantime, until Saturday morning. So here's the precipitation opportunities, and I'm going to run this through at least for a bit through parts of Monday into Tuesday. And we have some decent opportunities for precipitation still, at least around 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rainfall before we're all finished up. So here's a look at your forecast. Scattered showers and thunderstorms today. Lower 80s for the high, and that northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. Overnight, scattered thunderstorms, areas of dense fog with lows in the mid-50s, and the wind overall looking nice and calm. And for tomorrow, mostly cloudy, showers and thunderstorms. Lower 70s for the high, and a south wind at about 20 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast as we head towards your Saturday. More showers and thunderstorms on the way with highs in the mid-70s, and then upper 70s as we head towards your Sunday with showers and thunderstorms. Monday, we finally dry out, partly cloudy, highs in the low 80s.
Graham Plattner blamed women for getting raped. Who says something like that? Plattner said women should take some responsibility for themselves and not get so effed up they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. What's wrong with this guy?
Plattner said to avoid rape, women should act like an adult for F's sake. He's an awful person.
Graham Plattner is dangerous.
I would never vote for Graham Plattner.
Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
At Spectrum, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between speed, reliability, and value. That's why Spectrum fiber-powered internet gives you all three for just $40 a month. No contracts, no commitment. Just great internet at a great price. Spectrum fiber-powered internet delivers the fastest and most reliable internet for everything you do at home. Streaming, gaming, and connecting. Switch today and get Spectrum fiber-powered internet for just $40 a month. Call now or go online.
Rennie's, a main adventure.
It's summer, and Rennie's has a great selection of flip-flops, sandals, and water shoes. We've got Keen, Sanuk, great selection, always the best prices.
Thank you for shopping Rennie's.
The countdown to the Super Bowl is on, and GMA's road to the big game runs through all 32 teams. Now, GMA's in LA with the Chargers, and it could get a little rough.
That's awesome. That was a lot of fun.
The road to the Super Bowl starts tomorrow on GMA.
What a waste. A woman in New York was issued a fine after she was caught on video dumping and stealing a New York Knicks-themed trash can during the team's championship parade last week. Unfortunately for her, she was identified in that video and then got canned from her job. Rather than kicking the can down the road, she did decide to return it. The New York City Department of Sanitation tweeting a picture with the caption, "Home Sweet Home." But she still faces 2 separate fines for about $175 in total, so I guess that wasn't the best idea after all. Meanwhile, Messi may be making his case as soccer's greatest of all time with a stunning World Cup run so far. But in Kansas City, another Messi, a literal goat, is winning fans by munching weeds along the Missouri River. Born just before the tournament, Messi the GOAT has been dressed in an Argentina jersey as his namesake racked up 5 goals in 2 matches, a hat-trick in a 3-0 win over Algeria in Kansas City, and a brace in a 2-0 victory over Austria. Those performances reignited a familiar debate over who is the greatest player of all time, also known as GOAT in sports shorthand. Argentina has made Kansas City their home base, staying near the Berkeley riverfront, where the younger, horned Messi is part of a herd clearing at an invasive vegetation industrial area slated for a $1 billion redevelopment. And as for a meeting between the two Messis, the invitation, of course, still stands. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22. Have a great day, everyone.
He jumped on the ladder and climbed up about
Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, Mainers from across the state gathered in Belfast to honor the late Searsmont Assistant Fire Chief Wayne Woodbury. We'll have more on that ahead. Plus, a Bangor City Councilor is being scrutinized after walking out of a meeting before many key votes. And the Courthouse Gallery of Fine Art in Ellsworth is celebrating 20 years in business. We'll have those details coming up as well. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up, and as always, we thank you for joining us. Now for the weather today, we'll see some sunny skies with maybe a bit of a chance of rain later on. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you